What is up, everybody? It is JDog6156, and today we're doing more of a political analysis video. And the first state that we are going to be doing is the state of Iowa. Now, Iowa lays in the the Midwest, basically bordering the plains, and Iowa, especially nowadays, is more of a battleground state rather than a swing state. And the thing about Iowa is that compared to the states that border it, especially Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Illinois, Iowa's more rural. It's more of a farm-based state rather than an industrial state. However, it has a high working class population. Let it be farmers, industrial workers, um, etc. Now we're gonna go through a little bit of an analysis of Iowa throughout political years. So first we have 1976, where Gerald Ford won by a very narrow margin. As you can see, like Carter, he did well in southern Iowa to mid Iowa, but he didn't. But Gerald Ford did well in the northeast region, this part of Iowa right here. Now, pay attention to this region because it becomes more and more important, especially looking at this county right here, this blue county right here. That's where how do you say Dubuque is? Yeah. And you also have to pay attention to these southern counties right here. So now let's fast forward to 1980. Ronald Reagan destroyed Jimmy Carter in the state. Um, the only places where Carter won was this county. I can't pronounce his name. This one also. This one I know it contains Cedar Rapids, or I know Des Moines over here, but I think this is Cedar Rapids. Yeah, that's Cedar Rapids County, and Dubuque County. Carter only won 38.6% of the vote. Reagan won 51.3. I think Reagan increases his margin after. Oh crap! I'm sorry, y'all. Okay, yeah, Reagan increases his margin, but so does Walter Mondale since he's from the neighboring state of Minnesota, which you expect him to win in like these northern counties. Now, if you was to look at Iowa in 1988, you can see that it's an entire blue thing. Well, mostly because of the farming crisis that happened. Many voters in the Midwest, especially around the farming belt, really voted Democratic um, because mostly the farming crisis happened under the Republicans' watch. So that's a factor there. Um, okay, so due to Ross Perot, Bill Clinton did slightly a little bit worse than Dukakis. But however, he still won the state by like a likely margin, and he won the state again by even more. Now let's look at 2000. Gore won the state by like a close margin. It was the closest Democratic state. Look at northeastern Iowa. Northeastern Iowa became more and more competitive as years go on. And as you can see, southern Iowa is basically dominated by red. Um, Looking at 2004, Kerry surprisingly did slightly better than Gore. Yeah, he did slightly better than Gore, but he lost the state, which is kind of weird considering how like George Bush was able to do better with more rural and suburban areas. However, he was not able to win Iowa. We have 2008 where Obama from the neighboring state of Illinois won in the state by around 53 points, nearly 10 points more than McCain. And you can see northeastern Iowa is completely blue. Then we look at 2012, basically remains the same. And finally, we look at 2016, and there's a noticeable change. Like Iowa went from being completely blue to competitive to being mostly blue to now a lot of red. And you can even see that Trump did better in some areas, especially in northeastern Iowa. So, what was like the main cause of this? Well, Iowa is a very populist loving state. Trump is a populist in all regards. And Trump really played the theme well, especially with farmers in the Midwest. The key to how to win to the key how to win the Midwest is that you have to appeal to middle class, working class, farmers, and basically moderate voters. Iowa, despite voting for Trump by heavy margin, is still a moderate loving state. They don't like progressives will do good in the state, but they wouldn't win the state outright. Even if they run someone like AOC or Bernie Sanders, they could do better in the state, especially around northeastern Iowa and southern Iowa, but I kind of doubt that they would actually win it. So, the next question that many people would ask is, what is Iowa's future? Where do I see it going politically? Well, Republicans right now have a domination over the state of Iowa on the local and federal level. And unless another recession happens under a Republican president, even with that happening, I don't see Iowa like going back. Like Democrats could try to win back some these northeastern counties, especially Dubuque and these like light red counties right here, and probably some in the middle region, but overall, I don't see them doing fairly well in the next few elections in the future. That's not to say that Democrats should stop like making it competitive. In actuality, Democrats should be making more states competitive for the GOP because that would be a good strategy. But the GOP has a domination over the state, so I wouldn't really advise for Democrats to put their time into it. Just like how I wouldn't advise Republicans putting their most of their energy in states like Virginia and Colorado. Well, Virginia is kind of a stretch because the governorship won there, but governorships tend to be like less partisan than the actual federal election, so keep that in mind. But yeah, I think there's like a shift map of the 2020 election. Hold on, let me scroll up. Let me go all the way down. I didn't really think this through because I just rushed right into it. Anyway, let's find it. Here it is. So, like, the red areas shifted to the right, the blue areas shifted to the left. And as we can see, like, northeastern Iowa shifted heavily to the right. The only place of Iowa that really shifted to the left was western Iowa. However, pretty much the thing is that Trump basically maxed out in those regions. So, yeah, he already had enough votes there. Democrats just got peeled off just a little bit more than usual. And if you was to look at the rest of the Midwest, you can notice that some places really did shifted right, like in Ohio, Illinois, parts of Wisconsin. Like many of them shifted right, mostly because like when it came to the Midwest votes, Trump did peel off more third party voters that voted in 2016. And if you was to look at the county results of Iowa, you would notice that third parties did get at least get 1% or leading up to 3% in every county. Well, not in every county, but in most of the counties in 2016. So Trump was able to play very well with third party voters in the state. I mean, even look at Utah, which is not even related to this video. Trump did very well with third party voters in 2016. Made this area that trended to the right basically voted third party for Evan McMullin, the independent candidate. But yeah, that was my political analysis of Iowa. Now, just because I'm making a political analysis and saying that the state will probably stay Republican or Democrat doesn't mean it will actually will. I actually thought like states like Oregon and possibly Virginia would shift to the right, and not exactly. So don't take my complete word for it. But anyway, this is JDog6156. Please like, comment, and subscribe. If you're from Iowa, hit me up. But anyway, it's JDog6156.